So I've been a dad for over 2.5 years now, and I can assure you it is so much harder to get in shape and stay in shape than it was before I had kids or any real responsibilities. And the biggest key that I have found that has helped me now, so I'm not gaining a bunch of weight and turning into a dad bod having individual, is being able to create fitness systems that are incredibly efficient and something that I'm easily able to stick to. Because it doesn't even really matter what type of exercise you like, it doesn't really matter what kind of diet preferences you have. As long as you follow the principles behind diet and exercise, you can get results with almost anything. There's a lot of people that just do walking and still can get in shape when they control their diet. There are people that just play basketball and get in really good shape just because they eat the right amount of food to support what their goals are. There are a lot of people that do a lot of different things. So it doesn't mean you have to be someone who eats like a bodybuilder and trains like a bodybuilder to get in shape. If you want to be a bodybuilder, then you got to do things that bodybuilders do. And that's not a debate. But if you're just trying to get in shape and be a good person to look up to in your family, be the leader of the family, set a good example, then really what you got to do is what you want to do. So if you want to be a certain type of athlete, you eat and train to support that goal. If you just want to be in good shape, you can eat and train to support that goal. It doesn't have to be this complicated thing. But what I've found is that I've created a system that's so efficient and doesn't take a lot of time. So regardless of what else you want to do in your life, it can help support all of that. And it really comes down to about three things. The first thing is, of course, controlling your diet. Now, my personal favorite method is by controlling calories because it allows me to eat a lot of different types of foods that I wouldn't think would be diet foods because they're really not diet foods, but they do fit into my diet and support me along my goals. So if I'm in a weight loss phase where I want to drop body fat and get in better shape, then I can still fit things in my calories. If I want to bulk up and build muscle like I'm kind of doing right now, where I've gained, I think it's about 4 pounds this year. It's not a whole lot, just a little bit by little bit. I can eat in a way that is in the calorie restriction to support that goal. And all I have to do is adjust the calories and maybe eat a little bit more calorically dense foods if I'm in a bulk, maybe eat a little bit more nutrient dense, low calorie foods when I'm on a diet. Kind of alter it a little bit that way, but it gives a lot of freedom and it doesn't take a lot of time to think about. Like a lot of times when people get started on this, they don't even have to change their eating habits all that much. They just have to reduce the total amount of food that they're eating or at least get it under control. So I've noticed with people, there are a lot of days where people eat too much and then a lot of days where people eat not enough, but the net total amount of energy intake through food ends up being more than their body needs, which results in weight gain. And we want to kind of control that. We definitely want to control that so that way you can maybe get that weight under control or kind of maintain where you're at if that's what you want to do. But again, this all depends on what your goal is. And that's really how I like to do it. So I do focus on a lot of protein rich foods like chicken and eggs and cheese and steak and occasionally steak. I haven't had as much lately. I kind of miss, I should probably have some soon, but beef, like all kinds of different things that have high protein. Greek yogurt is a great one, and build meals around that. So for like chicken, I'll have maybe rice or sweet potato or carrot with that, or steak fries or some kind of carb source with that, and then have like the Greek yogurt. And I haven't had blueberries in like a couple weeks now, which is kind of messed up. I just haven't bought them, but I'll have it with blueberries. Or for the breakfast, I'll have 2 pieces of toast and I'll have 3 eggs and 2 slices of cheese. So it's pretty protein rich, but also the breakfast is pretty fat rich. So there's a lot of different nutrients that I try to incorporate into each thing. But these are very normal meals, like chicken and rice and vegetables, or an egg breakfast sandwich, or yogurt, or sometimes I'll have pizza, sometimes I'll have burgers. These are very standard foods that you'd expect to eat on a given day, but as long as you control the amount, it makes it really easy to stick to the diet long term and get the weight loss results you're looking for. And then when you're trying to maintain or even maybe add muscle, it's really easy to adjust for that. That's just how I do it. It takes me about 10 minutes a day max to plan out my entire day, the diet for the day, and then across the week, what's that, an hour total, hour and 10 minutes? It's not a lot of time to do that versus like meal prepping and like coming up with brand new meal ideas and becoming a chef and doing all these things to eat the most optimally healthy. Like we want to eventually get to that point where we're eating like nutrient optimized foods, but in the very beginning, all you do is just adjust for the total amount, get the weight loss results, start there, and then you can always optimize later and eat foods that make you feel better later. But the whole point in the beginning is to just get things in motion where you're starting to lose weight and feel better from that. Then from there is exercise. And for me, I feel like the most efficient thing I can do is lift weights about 3 days a week and strength train because it's very time efficient. I don't really spend much more than a half hour training. Lately, I've been training in the morning, so I'm a little bit slower to start. I find myself taking longer rest times because I haven't adjusted to early morning training lately. It's only been a couple weeks. But as I get going with that, it'll be about half hour. Just get in, get the weights done, and get out. And that way I can build a little bit of muscle. I can get the blood flowing. I can feel good. I can get mentally clear from that. And that's it. I do push-pull legs 3 days a week. Very simple, very straightforward. Focus on compound exercises, do some accessories after that, some isolation exercises, and that's all I do. Because I don't have any particular athletic goals. I do want to get stronger. I maybe eventually want to get into some kind of martial art, so mobility is going to be important and making sure my joints have fluid motion and all that kind of stuff. But that's a whole different goal. If you're doing some kind of sport, you want to also maybe train for that sport, but that would be very particular to whatever that is. And in this case, like some base level, if you don't have any athletic goals, this is a very good approach that's very time efficient again. So if you just to say take the hour and 10 minutes of dieting per day or per week, and then an hour and a half of training per week, I can't even do the math. It's like 2 hours and 40 minutes per week on fitness. That's it. You have 168 hours in a week. And if you're spending most of that busy, you can squeeze in a half hour 3 days a week, and you can squeeze in 10 minutes a day to control your diet and exercise. And you can get amazing results just from that. Like I went from 196 pounds, which isn't anything crazy because I'm 5'11", and it kind of fit well. And I didn't even realize I was getting really fat and skinny at the same time. And now I'm down to 160, about 168. And I look so much better than I ever did at 196 back then when I first got started. Kind of crazy. I have bigger arms than I did then, bigger shoulders, much bigger legs, and I don't have the gut that I did. So, and a lot of people get tripped up on body weight too. They're like, oh, you have to be 200 pounds as a man. Do you though? Who says? Anyway, the point is, just control the diet and do a little bit of exercise and then train for whatever athletic endeavor that you want. If you have one, if you don't, then just train that way. And it's very simple and easy to stick to. The only other aspect that I think is important is number 3, which is some form of cardio. If you're doing a sport, you already got that covered. If you're not doing a sport, walking is key. Walking is my favorite thing. Walk with family, walk my dog, walk with friends if you have them. We just moved here, so we're still kind of meeting people, but just walking. Or you can go walk solo. I wouldn't recommend listening to music because it's good to be environment aware in all places, but you could do that too. You could listen to podcasts if you want to. Like, there's a lot of different things you can do to increase your step count. You could do the treadmill. There's a lot of different ways you could do it. But if you walk half hour total a day, and it's not even so much as the just walking, like intentional walking, as it is your daily average step count. Because if you get that to above 5,000 steps a day, you're getting a decent amount of motion across the day. A lot of people are like, oh, you have to do 10K or 15K or 20K steps a day to lose weight. It's not about the cardio that causes the weight loss. It does contribute, absolutely. It makes it a lot easier because you can eat a little bit more calories and still lose a good amount of weight. But it takes so much time out of the day. And if you're already busy, kind of like I am, where I'm like being with my family and working all day and then working on my side business and doing all this stuff, I don't have time to walk 20,000 steps a day. I just simply do not have the time. Got to have dinner, got to take care of my kids, got to do all kinds of stuff. But I do have time to get my steps above 5,000 or even 7,000 on a very consistent basis. And that's enough to get the motion in the body, to increase the blood flow, have more mental clarity, in combination with lifting weights and eating the caloric diet that you need to support your goals, then you're really good to go. And anything else you want to do on top of that is extra. But if you have that baseline down, you are good to go. The trick, though, is convincing yourself to stick with it even when it feels like it's not working. And that's one of the toughest things to do. And I can go ahead and talk more about that in a future video. But in the meantime, I do have a guide in the link in the description, gainswithgabe.com/newsletter. If you sign up to there, Not only will I give you more daily insights through the newsletter, but I'll also invite you to my community, my little group, my little Discord, where I have a bunch of guides in there, and some of those guides do go over how to stick with the routine, even when it feels tough. So go over to gameswithgabe.com, sign up, you'll get invited to there, and then we'll keep in touch on the daily emails, and I'll send you any other insights along the way that I've picked up that have helped me stay in shape even as a busy dad. That's all for now. Thanks so much for watching. Check out more of my videos on my channel, and I will talk to you next time.